चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर गौरभक्तवृंदा जय चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर गौरभक्तवृंदा जय जय कुंजबिहार जय कुंजनवल्लभा गिरिवरदा यशोदन यशोदन व्रज जनन यमुना तीरवनचारि यमुना तीरवनचारि हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे राम हरे 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 जय 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 राधा माधव राधा माधव राधा जय राधा सुंदर राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय प्रभु 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 जय 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 गुरुदेव जय जय गौरा हरि बोल
Alexa,
हरि बोल
off.
गौरा हरि गौरा हरि
Thank you, Mataji. So we will start today's session with prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजात सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। So I seek blessings from all of you so that whatever I speak is in the parampara and for the pleasure of the Lord. So those of you who can switch on the camera, please switch on the cameras. And would anybody like to share one or two points from yesterday's class?
Yes, Mataji, I'll try, Mataji.
Yes.
We saw verse 47, I think, yesterday.
Yes.
We saw like Prithvi Maharaja is glorifying four Kumaras
Mhm.
and how to satisfy the Brahmanas. You know, only by their own activities they can be satisfied. And the
Okay.
costless mercy of Krishna.
Hmm.
You know, Krishna doesn't need anything from us. Whatever we give him, also we are only getting it back, like prasadam.
Correct.
That all we saw, Mataji. And also we have to follow the footsteps of Mahajans. We have
Correct.
to spread the Krishna consciousness to the entire humanity. You
Yes.
know, like how the Mahajans and devotees like gopis of Vrindavana or gurus, everyone. You know, and Prabhupada has also given us so many things to repay the debt. You know, the
Hmm.
only way we can repay it by following his instructions.
Correct.
You know, he tells that only by studying my books you can make me happy.
Yes. Prabhupada
And
also
also we
says
saw
that.
how a false ego, you know, material world is lording over everywhere. You know, there is only gratifying of senses. Even they are ready to go to that extent to break the relation.
Hmm.
You know, but they are not ready to, you know, they are not away from the sense gratification. So whatever we can do, we can follow, like chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. You know, we can follow the scriptures. So
Correct.
there you can lead a good Krishna conscious life, whatever according to our capacity, Prabhuji was telling.
Okay.
And always rely on the shelter of the holy name.
Correct.
Uh, you know, depending on Harinam, always.
Yes. So
Hare
basically, we
Krishna
have to follow in the footsteps of great
Maha.
pure
Yeah,
devotees, so
yeah.
that we can also reach the same destination as they, that is spiritual abode, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Very good.
Hare Krishna. So we will start. Just share the screen. We are on verse number 48 today, Canto 4, chapter 22, verse number 48. So let us start by reciting the verse. Who wants to recite?
May I, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
श्रीमैत्रेय उवाच त आत्मयोगापतय आदि आदिराजेन पूजिताः शित शीलं शीलं तदीयं संश्चन्तः खेभवत् खेभवन्मिषतां नृणाम् synonyms, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, you can read the translation.
Okay. The great sage Maitreya continued, being thus worshipped by Maharaj Prithu, the four Kumaras who were master of devotional service become very pleased. Indeed, they appeared in the sky and praised the character of the king, and everyone observed them. Purport by Sri Prabhupada ki jai. It is said that the demigod never touch the surface of the earth. They walk and travel in space only like the great sage Narada. The Kumaras do not require any machine to travel in space. There are also residents of Siddhaloka who can travel. Sorry, huh? Who can travel? Who can travel?
In space
Mataji, I had
without
nothing.
machine. What happened,
Who
Master? You are not able to see?
Yes, now it's okay, Mataji. This color is okay, Mataji.
Okay.
In space without machine, since they can go from the planet to another, they are called siddhas. That is to say, they have acquired all mystic and yogic powers. Such great saintly persons who have attained complete perfection in mystic yoga are not visible in this age on earth because humanity is not worthy of their presence. The Kumaras, however, praise the characteristics of Maharaja Prithu and his great devotional attitude and humanity. The Kumara were greatly satisfied by King Pruthu's method of worship. It was by the grace of Maharaja Pruthu that the common citizen in his domain could see the Kumaras flying in outer space. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So here we see that there is a discussion. Prithu Maharaj is worshipping the Kumaras. The Kumaras are pleased with Prithu's qualities, character, his character, his character. So these two very powerful personalities are there. King Prithu, who is the king of the material planets, and the four Kumaras, who have complete control over the mystic yogic powers. So the discussion is going on in between them. And we know that in this material world, whenever, say, two doctors meet, they start discussing about the medicines or diseases or things related to that. Or when two business persons meet, they start discussing about the business. So here, two great devotees, they are having discussion. So naturally, they are discussing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and about the devotional service to the Lord and how to surrender to the Lord. Um, so when yes, and we can see a very nice exchange between both of them. Prithu Maharaj is worshipping the Kumaras, and the Kumaras are very pleased, and they are giving blessings, and they are glorifying Prithu Maharaj. So this is the perfect Vaishnava culture, that one is worshipping and the other is reciprocating with glorification. So this is the Vaishnava culture, and this is how the Vaishnavas should deal with each other. We know that human form of life is very rare, and there are 84 lakh species of life, and among that, human form is very rare. But to get darshan of such pure devotees of the Lord, that is also still very rare. The citizens are getting darshan of the four Kumaras, which are who are pure devotees of the Lord. So that such darshan is also very rare. And such devotees, such pure devotees of the Lord, they have many qualities. Correct? We always say the prayer Vancha kalpatarubhyascha evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So these here we see that such pure devotees, what three qualities they have. The first one is Vancha kalpataru. Correct? They are like desire fulfilling trees. Then Krupa Sindhu, they are ocean of mercy, and they are Patitanam Pavane, correct? They are deliverer of most fallen souls, right? So we can see Narad Muni, there is mention of Narad Muni in this purport. We can see, we say him as a spaceman because such persons, no, who are siddhas, they don't need any spaceship or they don't need any machine to travel from in between the planets, from one planet to another, correct? So Narad Muni possesses all these qualities to the fullest, correct? He is, he is Vancha Kalpatarubhesha, means he is a desire fulfilling, they are like desire fulfilling trees. So we see that when Dhruva Maharaj, he went to the forest, when he was insulted by his stepmother, then Narad Muni appeared there and he wanted to, tried to pacify Dhruva Maharaj and he actually tried to tell him that you are such a small boy, so you cannot perform austerities at this small age. So better you go home when you are grown up, then you can come and perform the austerity. But Dhruva Maharaj, we know he was very determined and he said, I'm not going to go back. And then Narad Muni was just testing him and then he instructed him. And then Dhruva Maharaj, for 6 months, he performed severe austerities. And we know at the end, after 6 months, he got darshan of the Lord. So when Dhruva Maharaj saw the Lord personally, then all his, desires, they were vanquished. He had no desire in his heart when he saw the Lord and he just wanted to offer devotional service to the Lord. But Lord knew the desire in his heart. What was his desire? Why Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest?
Mataji, he want to get the wealth higher than his forefather, Mataji. Hare
Correct.
Krishna.
He wanted to have a kingdom which is much, much higher than his forefathers. Correct? So, Lord blessed him with that planet which is known as Dhruva Loka. Correct? So, Lord fulfills the desire. Narad Muni was just an instrument, isn't it? So, he approached, he instructed and he advised Dhruva Maharaj. Then he say he is ocean of mercy. The devotees are ocean of mercy. So Narad Muni again, his heart is very compassionate, and he felt that compassion for Nalakuber and Manigrave, who are the sons of Kubera. Correct? So they were engaged in such activity that Narad Muni could not tolerate their this pitiable condition, and so he actually cursed them. Correct? Irrespective of having high birth and having such high residence, but these people, Malakuver and Manigrave, they were involved in materialistic activities, and so Narad completely intoxicated. So Narad Muni cursed them. But how see the mercy? How he is ocean of mercy. So that curse turned into a boon because they became trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, right? So they could see the childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna, and finally the little Lord he delivered them. So this is how the devotees are of mercy. We see in the case of Srila Prabhupada also. Srila Prabhupada went to United States merely to follow the instructions of his spiritual master, and also because of overflowing compassion in his heart for the conditioned soul suffering in this material world. Then the devotees are deliverer of the fallen souls. correct? So Narad Muni, again, Mrugari, we know the example of Mrugari. He was such a fallen soul. He was a hunter and he used to take pleasure in half killing the animals. And he used to enjoy the torture, their torture he used to enjoy. And when Narad Muni came there, and he again he advised him, and he completely transformed his heart. Correct. And afterwards, after few days, when Narad Muni was again traveling from space, he suddenly remembered that one of my disciples, Brugari, is. Let us see what he is doing. And when he came to meet him, Brugari, who was taking pleasure in half killing animals, so he was not ready to step on the ants also. Correct. That was the complete transformation in his. That was the complete transformation of his heart. So that is the devotees, such pure devotees, they have these great qualities, and that's why we worship such devotees. Okay, so Prithu Maharaj also worshipped the four Kumaras. So externally, we are worshipping the form of the Lord or a spiritual master with all the paraphernalia, all the items, right? But internally, what the real worship is, internally we should follow their instructions. Then that is real worship, and which Srila Prabhupada also actually he worshipped Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur by following his orders. So we also have to do the same thing. Then only the knowledge, real knowledge, will be revealed in our heart. So in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, the process is given. That is tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upatekshati te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshinaha. So if we have three qualities, which three qualities? Pranipat, pariprashna, and sevaya. Correct. So if we have these three qualities, then we can tap his grace. So I will just give you just to we can remember easily these three qualities, a small acronym, his, HIS. Correct. So H is for humility, that means submissively we have to surrender. Then I is inquisitive, and S is service attitude. Correct. So if we tap his grace by these qualities, then definitely the Tattvadarshinaha, correct, who have realized the truth, they will reveal the knowledge to us. Correct. And how are these Tattvadarshinaha, that is spiritual master or the leader? So a leader, it is said that a leader is the one who knows the way, who goes the way, and who shows the way. Correct. He knows the way means he knows that the ultimate goal of our life is going back home, back to Godhead. He goes the way means he himself walks on that path, and shows the way means he shows that way for others to follow. Right. So by Prithu Maharaj also he is worshipping the Kumaras, and he is taking instructions from them. Correct. Prithu Maharaj, we know he is Shaktavesh avatar of the Lord, and actually he has knowledge, but before the great pure devotees of the Lord, he is becoming very humble. Correct. He is not having that false ego that I'm the king and I know everything. He is not having that kind of mentality or that kind of attitude. He is submissively asking them questions, and the questions are also we have seen many times that the questions should not be asked in a challenging way. Correct. They should be asked for the advancement in our spiritual life. So Prithu Maharaj is asking those questions who are beneficial for all humanity, right? So that is the and that's why the Kumaras are very pleased with his character, with his humility. Correct. as Mataji, Sindhu Mataji was saying that in previous verse we saw that how Prithu Maharaj, because what is the humility of Prithu Maharaj? He says that I want to repay you back because you have given me such knowledge, but how can I repay? Because nothing belongs to me. Correct? That is his humility. Why nothing belongs to me? Because the Brahmanas who churned me from the body of King Vena, so they have given me everything. I don't possess anything as such. Correct? So that is the humility, and that's why Kumaras are very much pleased with his character. And one last point in this last line, um, it was by the grace of Prithu Maharaj that the common citizens in his domain could see the Kumaras flying in outer space. Correct? So Kumaras are pure devotees, and they are not visible to common people. Correct? Why generally? Because having darshan also needs some qualification. Correct? So if you don't have that qualification, then you cannot see such exalted or great personality. Otherwise, what happens is we may ask some questions which are very cheap or something like that, or we don't understand the value of such great personalities. There is a small story that one old lady, she was carrying a burden of wooden sticks on her head, and the she was very old, and the sticks fell down. Now it was not possible for her to put them back on her head, and so she was calling the Lord, from her heart that please come and help me. And Lord really appeared in front of her, and then he asked her, "What do you want?" So what the lady said, just, please help me to put these sticks back on my head. Now just imagine the Supreme Lord is appearing in front of you, and what you will ask for him from him. Correct? So if the people are not qualified, then such things may happen, and that's why such great personalities, they don't reveal themselves to the people in general. But here we see that though the citizens, they were not that qualified, only by the grace of Prithu Maharaj they could have darshan of the Kumaras. So we see that Srila Prabhupada also once a devotee asked him that, Prabhupada, what qualification we had that we became devotees. So Prabhupada immediately said that you did not have any qualification, I made you qualified. Correct? So such pure devotees of the Lord, when such yes. So when because of pure devotees, pure devotion or purity, the others in association with him or those who are connected with him, they also get benefit of certain things. Correct. So similarly, citizens of this kingdom, they also got this benefit by the grace of Prithu Maharaj. Right. So let's go to the next shloka. Archana Mataji, you want to recite?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, you can recite, Mataji.
Vainyastu duryo mahatam samsthidyatma sikshaya apta kamam ivatmanam mene atmani avastitaha. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
May I read the translation and purport also, Mataji?
Mataji, you can read the translation and first paragraph.
Okay, Mataji.
Yes.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Amongst great personalities, Maharaja Prithu was the chief by the virtue of his fixed position in relation to spiritual enlightenment. He remained satisfied as one who has achieved all success in spiritual understanding. Purport: remaining fixed in devotional service gives one the utmost in self-satisfaction. Actually, self-satisfaction can be achieved only by pure devotees. who have no desires other than to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead has nothing to desire, he is fully satisfied with himself. Similarly, a devotee who has no desire other than to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead is as self-satisfied as Supreme Lord. Everyone is hankering after peace of mind and self-satisfaction, but these can only be achieved by becoming a pure devotee of the Lord. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Yes, some other can read the rest of the purport. Somebody else?
I'll read, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Haripur, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Prithu's statements in previous verses regarding his vast knowledge and perfect devotional service are justified here, for he is considered best amongst all the Mahatmas. In Bhagavad Gita 9.13, Sri Krishna speaks of Mahatmas in this way. Mahatmanastu mam partha dhaivim prakritimashritah bhajanti ananya manaso nyatva bhutadimapyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. The Mahatmas are not under the clutches of the illusory energy, but are under the protection of the spiritual energy. Because of this, the real Mahatma is always engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Prithu Maharaja exhibited all the symptoms of a Mahatma. Therefore, he is mentioned in this verse as Duryo Mahatam, best of the Mahatmas.
Thank you, Mataji. So again, 2 points in this purport. One is devotional service is glorified, and about Mahatma, the definition of Mahatma, how he acts and all those things, how Prithu Maharaj was a great Mahatma, why he is called. I will just share another shloka. So devotional, so remaining fixed in devotional service gives one the utmost in self, gives one the utmost in self-satisfaction. Right? So this is a beautiful shloka. When we perform bhakti, one natural element comes with it, that is satisfaction. So bhakti hi pareshanubhavo viraktir bhakti hi pareshanubhavo viraktir anyatra chaishatrik ekakalaha प्रपद्यमानस्य यथाश्नतः स्युः तुष्टि पुष्टि क्षुदपायोनुघासम. So just read the translation. Yes.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. These three occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the same way that pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger come simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So as a person who is hungry, when he eats food, three things happen. First one is tushti, that is he gets satisfaction, correct? Then pushti, he gets nourishment naturally, and third is his he is relieved from hunger, correct? He is no more hungry now. So similarly, when one performs a devotional service, three things happen. One is tushti, definitely one gets satisfaction. Then pushti, nourishment. So what kind of nourishment is this? That one realizes his relationship with the Supreme Lord. Correct? One gets the knowledge of sambandha, abhideya and prayojan. Correct? So one understands the relationship with the Supreme Lord. What is the process to achieve the love of Lord, and what is the ultimate goal of life, that is attaining the love of Supreme Lord. Correct? So he understands this, that is nourishment. And then last is virakti. He gets virakti, that means detachment from material things, or detachment from material world. Like we know rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. When one gets higher taste, then automatically the hankering for one can easily leave the lower taste. Correct? The hankering for material things, or the four don'ts which we say, gambling, meat eating. So the hankering for all these material things, it ceases, it goes away when we attach ourselves to the higher taste. So this is about devotional service. Just again share the shloka. So devotional service, it actually purifies our heart. We have a dormant love for Krishna in our heart, but it is covered by so many layers. It is covered by dust. We have seen in Bhagavad Gita also. So that the devotional service gradually purifies our heart, and that love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes manifested, right? So that is one point in this verse, and the other point is about the Mahatmas, correct? So a shloka from Bhagavad Gita, Mahatmanas Swam Partha Daivim Prakriti Mashritaha. So what is the definition of Mahatmas, correct? So those persons who have taken shelter under the internal energy, divine nature of the Lord, that is internal energy of the Lord. Who is the internal energy of the Lord?
It is Sandaranga Shakti, Yoga Maya.
Yeah, but actually she is Radharani, right?
Radharani. Yes, Mataji. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So one has to take shelter of internal energy, that is Radharani, but that we cannot take shelter of her. She has her agents, correct? And who are her agents? Are nothing but the pure devotees, correct? So we have to take shelter of the pure devotees of the Lord. So that is considered as good as we are under the supervision of the internal energy, that is Radharani of the Lord, correct? So if a pure devotee like Mahatma, it is said here, if he accepts our actions, or he accepts our service and he is pleased, then it is as good as the Lord is pleased with us, correct? And how these Mahatmas are, so they are bhajanti ananya manaso. So they have taken shelter of the internal energy or divine nature, and bhajanti ananya manaso means they are always engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, and they don't have any other second thought, correct? There is for in their life there is no other interest than Krishna's interest. So we know the example of gopis, how they were constantly thinking of Lord Krishna. That's why they are called as topmost devotees. So whatever actions they were performing, whatever house chores they were performing, or whatever actions they were doing, they were constantly remembering Krishna. And when Narad Muni came to there saying that Krishna is having headache and the dust of your feet can cure him, so immediately they were ready to give the dust of their feet. And Narad Muni warned them that if you do this, then you will go to hell forever. And what the gopis said, that even for a moment, by the dust of our feet, the Lord gets relief, then we are ready to go to hell forever. So that is the bhav of gopis. So they are topmost devotees. So Bhajanti Ananya Manoso means they don't have any other thought in their mind other than serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Correct? And so does that mean that they worship out of sentimentalism? Then Krishna immediately clears that no, it is not like that. They are Jnatva Utadim Avyayam. That means they have knowledge. They know that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead and I am the original and inexhaustible. Correct? So with that knowledge, they perform devotional service and they keep Lord always in their heart. And such personalities they are called as Mahatmas. And we know that the Lord is called as Atmaram because he is self-satisfied. Why he is self-satisfied? Because there is nothing for the Lord to achieve. Why? Because the Lord is the proprietor, the Lord is the controller, and everything belongs to him. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. So everything is in control of Lord, and that's why he is Atmaram, he is self-satisfied. We may have something which belongs to us, but how but will not be able to hold it forever, right? But this is not the problem with the Lord. He possesses everything, he controls everything, and everything is in hold of the Lord. And even if temporarily somebody may try to usurp the things and claim them to be in his control, but how long will it be? Will he be able to claim it? Correct. When death comes, he has to go. Correct. So that's why. Um, um, yes. So the Mahatma. Yes. So the Lord is Atmaram, and here it is said that the devotees, correct, these pure devotees, these Mahatmas, they are also called as Atmaram because they are qualitatively Atmaramas in the sense they are taking shelter of the Lord and they don't have any other desire other than serving the lotus feet of the Lord. They have taken shelter. What they're thinking is whatever I have to achieve, I have achieved because I am holding tightly the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the bhav of these Mahatmas, great devotees. And so therefore they are not at all hankering for material things. They are self-satisfied, like Lord. So they they are equipoised in all situations. They are not over. They are never overjoyed or never disappointed. And they are neutral, calm, towards the so-called things of this material world. Of course, they do have spiritual desires. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashtanta Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atta Eka Shantaha. So those who are running after bhukti, that is gross sense enjoyment, or mukti, liberation from this world, or siddhi kamis, who want to achieve some siddhis like walking on water or flying in air or becoming smaller than the smallest. So they want they will be always shanta, frustrated because they will not get peace in this world. Whatever they do, they will not going to get any peace. But bhakta, because he doesn't want or need anything in this material world. Correct? He just wants to perform loving devotional service to the Lord, and so they are Shanta. If something comes by virtue, they accept it. If something is taken away by virtue, then also they are fine with it. Srila Prabhupada in his previous days, he was running a business, and he was trying very hard to establish that business, but somehow or other it was not, the things were not working out. So Srila Prabhupada was little concerned that what is happening, what mistake I am making that my business is not flourishing. So he went to his god brother Sridhar Swami, and he told him that what is happening. So Sridhar Swami immediately pulled out one shloka from Srimad Bhagwatam, Yasyaham Anugrahami Harishyeta Dhanam Shanai. So in that shloka, Krishna is saying that when I am specially compassionate to someone, I will take all his possessions one by one. And when Srila Prabhupada heard this, he became completely peaceful. He understood that this is special mercy of Krishna on me. So, how many of us we can think like this, or we can take problems or difficulties in our life in this spirit? It is very difficult unless and until we have firm faith. Correct? Unless and until we have firm faith in Krishna, we cannot uh, act in such a way. Correct? So there is a beautiful poem by a Dutch writer, just to revealing about the faith. I will just read out that poem. I and God are walking on the sand of the time, and on this sand I saw two sets of footprints, one of mine and other of God. As I see these two footprints, I get immense amount of faith in God being with me. Then suddenly time changes. The ocean goes through high tides, and there are massive waves and downpours. The difficult times have now begun. This ocean becomes violent. There are dark, ominous clouds in the sky, thunder, lightning. I then suddenly start seeing only one set of footprints. I then wondered, how is that in good times God always walked with me hand in hand, close to each other, and now the times have changed, things have become difficult, and God has left me. Why you left me? Why did you leave me, God? Then suddenly God replies, my dear son, I haven't left you. This one set of footprints that you see is mine. I picked you up and carried you through the tough times. I knew you would not be able to walk through these times, and hence I walked with you in my arms. And this set of footprints which you see are mine and not yours. Did you like the poem?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Looks some like similar story we have heard. Some.
Really? Okay, so this kind of, unless and until we have this kind of faith or conviction, we cannot we um, we cannot be peaceful in this material world. Correct? Then the Mahatmas here it is, yes. So this Supreme Personality of Godhead, we know that he is Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Surudham Sarvabhutanam Jnatva Mam Shantim Ruchati. So he is the ultimate well-wisher of every living entity, and he cannot do anything troublesome to the living entity. He is the father, and his child. We are his children, and no matter whatever you do, even if he is angry with our nonsense activities, still whatever punishment he gives is meant for the good of the child, right? So when we feel that whenever difficulties or problems come, when we feel that why me, why only me, at that time, what is devotee's understanding is, I was supposed to get much more than this, but Lord is so merciful that He is giving me this much only. Correct? That is devotee's understanding, and such a person is Mahatma. So, can you give me some examples of Mahatmas from Shastra?
Mataji,
Mataji, we do.
Narad Muni,
Mataji,
Okay.
12 Mahajanas, Mataji.
Yes.
Kalmaha. Yeah.
And all these kings, I mean, Prithu Maharaj, Yudhishthira
Yeah.
Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad
Mataji,
Maharaj,
Vidurji.
Amrish
yes,
Maharaj.
Amrish Maharaj, all these are Mahatmas, and Shastras are setting such high standard for us, correct? So, whenever we feel, no, whatever is a small devotion we are, no, with whatever small devotion we have, we feel that we are devotees of the Lord. So, when we see such examples, we understand that we have, no, uh, far distance to go, correct? So that's why these examples are set before us, so that we look forward for such a devotion to be developed in us, and not settle for our so-called tiny devotion, right? So what is the mark of a devotee? What is the greatest quality of a devotee is he never thinks himself great. All these personalities, if you see Prithu Maharaj, as I said, he was a great king and he was Shatyavesh avatar, but still he humbly received the four Kumaras and he washed their feet with his own hands. Correct? So that is the greatness, humility of such great devotees, that they never ever take credit and they never ever think themselves great devotees of the Lord. They are in the mood of right? So these are 2 points on this verse, and let's go to the last verse for today. Yes, who wants to recite?
Shall I,
May I,
Mataji?
Mataji?
Yes, Navakishori. Divya Mataji, you want to recite?
Yes,
Yes, Mataji,
Mataji.
she can.
Okay.
कर्माणि च यथा कालं यथा देशं यथा बलं यथोचित्तं यथा वित्त मकरो मकरो ब्रह्म सात प्रथम. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Shall I
Hare
read the
Krishna.
section?
Yeah, Mataji, you can read the translation and the first paragraph. Then Navakishori Mataji will read the rest.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Being self-satisfied, Maharaja Prithu executed his duties as perfectly as possible according to the time and his situation, strength, and financial position. His only aim in all his activities was to satisfy the absolute truth. In this way, he duly acted. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaja Prithu was a responsible monarch and he had to execute the duties of a Kshatriya, a king, and a devotee at the same time. Being perfect in the Lord's devotional service, he could execute his prescribed duties with complete perfection as befitted the time and circumstances and his financial strength and personal ability. In this regard, the word Karmani in this verse is significant. Prithu Maharaja's activities were not ordinary, for they were in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada Goswami has advised that things which are favorable to devotional service should not be rejected, nor should activity favorable for devotional service be considered ordinary work or fruitive activity. For example, an ordinary worker conducts business in order to earn money for a sense gratification. A devotee may perform the same work in exactly the same way, but his aim is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Consequently, his activities are not ordinary. Hare Krishna Mataji, pranam.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Navakishori Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam, Mataji.
Then
Prithu Maharaja's activities were therefore not ordinary but were all spiritual and transcendental. for his aim was to satisfy the Lord, as just as Arjuna, who was a warrior, had to fight to satisfy Krishna. Prithu Maharaj performed his royal duties as king for the satisfaction of Krishna. Indeed, whatever he did as emperor of the whole world was perfectly befitting a pure devotee. It is therefore said by a Vaishnava poet, Vaishnavera kriya mudra vignena bhujahaya. No one can understand the activities of a pure devotee. A pure devotee's activities may appear like ordinary activities, but behind them there is a profound significance, the satisfaction of the Lord. In order to understand the activities of a Vaishnava, one has to become very expert. Maharaja Prithu did not allow himself to function outside the institution of four varnas and four ashramas. Although as a Vaishnava, he was a Paramhamsa, transcendental to all material activities. He remained in his position as a Kshatriya to rule the world, and at the same time remained transcendental to such activities by satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Concealing himself as a pure devotee, he externally manifested himself as a very powerful and dutiful king. In other words, none of his activities were carried out of his own sense gratification. Mm. Everything he did was meant for the satisfaction of the senses of the Lord. This is clearly explained in the next verse. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So Prabhupada is talking here about Varnashram, how Prithu Maharaj dutifully followed his Varna. He was a Kshatriya, and how he dutifully followed all the duties of his Varna. So the goal of Varnashram system in human society, there are four Varnas and four Ashramas. So the goal of Varnashram system is to satisfy Lord Hari. Correct? So people have a prescribed duties. Human society needs a good consulting brain, good administrators, good producers, and good workers. But all of them, they have to work according to their prescribed duties for the satisfaction of the Lord, and then only the kingdom can be, all the citizens will be peaceful. Like we see in case of Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, or Prithu Maharaj, the citizens were very happy. Why? Because they everybody was following the Varnashram Dharma properly, correctly. Correct? That's why they were happy. So why Prithu Maharaj? Prithu Maharaj is a great devotee of the Lord. So still he followed all the duties perfectly. Why? Just to set an example before the people in general, right? So that the common people, they should not criticize the path of bhakti. Sometimes okay, Prithu Maharaj, externally it appeared like he is a Kshatriya performing his duty, but internally he was a pure devotee of the Lord. He had his pure bhakti. Correct? So there are two types of dharmas. One is integral dharma and one is isolated dharma. So isolated dharma means one uses devotional service just as an excuse to avoid prescribed duty. Sometimes, one example, one Mataji was telling me that one Mataji, she came into bhakti and she started chanting and all, and then she started neglecting her family. In the sense, I want to do bhakti, so I have to do chanting and all, and in that name, she was not fulfilling her duties towards her children, towards her husband. So that bhakti is not an excuse for our prescribed duties. Correct? We have to follow prescribed duties properly. So, an integral dharma is, it balances both varnashram and devotional service to Krishna. Then only we can get peace in our lives. Correct? So, if a varnashram dharma is unfavorable to devotional service, then one has to reject. As Rupa Goswami is saying here, that if it is not favorable, then you can reject. But otherwise, you have to follow prescribed duties. So it is said that we should keep Srimad Bhagwatam in our heart, Bhagavad Gita in action. Correct? Because in Bhagavad Gita, we see that Krishna tells Arjuna to fight the battle. As a Kshatriya, it is his duty to fight the battle. And so he has to do his prescribed duties, perform your duty responsibly, and keep Srimad Bhagavatam in heart means that with remembrance of Supreme Lord, or a love for Lord in the heart, perform your duties responsibly in the spirit of Nishkam Karma Yoga, that is without attachment to the fruits of the results, and offering results to the Supreme Lord. That is the perfection of life. And Prithu Maharaj, you see here, he is doing the same thing. He is the first statement. He is responsible, and he is a kshatriya, a king, and a devotee at the same time. Correct? So he is perfectly balancing all these things, and he is doing. That's why he was a successful. He is a called as a responsible monarch. Correct? And he is called as a Mahatma also because of all these qualities. So sometimes devotees' activities may appear ordinary, but they are centered around Krishna, right? For example, to understand this, the devotees' activities are not ordinary. One must be an expert. Like we know that Daksha was an expert, but he could not understand Lord Shiva, and then he offended Lord Shiva. When Shiva came and Shiva did not offer him obeisances, Daksha misunderstood him, and then he offended Shiva that way. So it is not easy to understand a pure devotee. Similarly, we know the story of Romaharsha and Suta. He was sitting on the Vyasa sun, and he was giving a discourse on Bhagwatam, and at that time Lord Balram came. So this Romaharsha and Suta, he had that little pride that I am sitting on the Vyasa sun, so why should I pay obeisances? And he did not give respect to Lord Balram, and Balram immediately killed him. Correct? So actually, Romaharshan Sutta was exalted personality, but Lord Balram understood that he is not fit to sit on Vyasasana because of that false ego, little prestige, and so he killed. So sometimes uh, people make mistakes in understanding the devotees. I mean, the devotee is also performing the same activities, but the center of his activities is Krishna. So, ordinary people may think that I am also going to office, the devotee is also going to office, he is also doing the same thing, I am also doing the same thing. Then what is the difference? But the devotee is doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna, and he is serving the Lord. Correct? Whatever he is doing, whatever his activities are, that is for the satisfaction and pleasure of Krishna. That is so the such activities are different from ordinary people's activities. So we should not see Vaishnava on a bodily platform, correct? And we will, and just the last sentence. So Prithu Maharaj activities he carried out for not for his own sense gratification, but everything he did was meant for the satisfaction of the senses of the Lord. So that consciousness, that this is the learning for us. So such consciousness, though staying in this material world, we have to, though we have to perform our prescribed duties, but what consciousness in mind we can keep is we can learn from example of Prithu Maharaj, right? So that is all for today. So if you have any comments or questions, we can take. Otherwise, we will stop here. Anybody wants to share something or say something, comment something? or anything, any point which you are taking from today's class. You can just share that.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Mataji, you told about the. Okay, Prabhuji, you carry.
I think you can. The thing is, we have to place Sri Krishna in the center. Then everything will be quite right. Our personal life will be made successful, as
Correct.
per my knowledge was.
Yes,
So the
Prabhuji.
one thing, it is to be determined in ourselves.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, you were telling about the acronym, right? His
Yes.
grace, the humility, H for humility, I for inquisitive, and S for service attitude.
Yes.
So, yeah, so the real knowledge will be delivered if we
Correct.
tap His grace. Yeah, I really like that.
Correct. So if we remember like this, then
Yeah.
we will never forget. And
Yes.
we know that we have to follow, we have to always take shelter of pure devotees of the Lord, so that ultimately we can achieve the ultimate goal of our life. Anybody else wants to share something? Otherwise, we will stop here. So, okay. Thank you so much for attending the session. Really grateful to you. And let us offer our obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhescha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam
Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Anantapati Vaishnava के Srila Prabhupada की जय.
Thank you so
ग्रंथराज
much.
भागवतम की जय.
Grantharaj Srimad Bhagwatam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna,
So,
Mataji.
Thank you.
I will end the session.